when you're getting ready for a video and you're testing products and you spill half of a bottle of nail polish. Yup. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing like a chit chat, polish with me, get ready with me, kind of whatever have you. And as I had promised in my last video, this is mainly going to be products from the February Maniology Mani by Me box. I'm going to show you really quickly before we get started just a few of the things that we are not going to be using in this little thing, really just two of the products. I'm not going to be using this particular plate. This is, do these even have different names? Because I feel like they always have like very similar names, but this is MXM001, and this one just has some very interesting geometric-y type designs on there. So we're not going to be using that. We're not going to be using these nail stickers, which are kind of, sorry that glare, they're kind of like iridescent-y and stuff, and they seem to have a wavy type pattern to them. So there's that, and then we did get like stickers and the candy that we normally get. So now that we've gone through what we're not going to use, I'm going to show you what we are going to use. Things are almost flying on the floor. I'm going to use this plate, which is the MXM002 plate from that same. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Probably should have zoomed in like that for the last one, but yeah, we're going to be doing like we're going to use this plate, or this image right here, and probably this one as well. And this is going to be like a, you know, a wolf design. I'm going to show you what inspired this once I get through all the products. We're also going to be using this plate from What's Up Nails. This is B011, and we're going to use this image right here because I like it. And then products, oh, these are also from the Maniology February Mani by Me box. Just in case you were wondering, I am not sponsored by them. I'm not like an ambassador or anything like that. Although it might be fun to be an ambassador. I have applied and have never heard back, so I don't really know exactly what they're looking for. But anyways, I'm not like affiliated with them. I just like to get their products and stuff, so that's why we're doing this. Haven't swatched these yet, but I hear that they are fairly good polishes. We're also going to be using some China glazes, just because they were on the rack and they were easy for me to grab. But nothing about these particular colors are like necessary or you need. They're just, yeah. This is a gray. This is called Intelligence, Integrity, and Courage from the Giver collection. This is a silver called I'd Melt For You. And this is a navy called First Mate. A navy called First Mate. Oh yeah, and then the Mani by Me nail polishes. This is Shibori. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. The navy colored one. And then this one is Nico, the yellow color. So there's that, and I'm going to show you. This is not normally how I do my Chit Chat Polish with Me videos, so this is going to be weird because I don't think that I've ever planned this far ahead as in terms of the design. So we'll see how it goes. Let me reach across the table, and let's see if I can get it all in frame. No, I cannot get it all in frame. Well, maybe I can. Let me zoom out. This is a little pajama top that I bought for my son Everett. It obviously comes with bottoms, but I can't find the bottoms in the laundry. But this is what has inspired this design. I really like this image, and I actually bought these months ago, and when I first got them, I was like, wow, this is like a really cute image. I wish that I knew how to do it. And then, like, seriously, shockingly, like, Maniology comes out with an image that is super similar. Not identical by any means, but this, you know, it's a wolf with some stars in it, and this is a wolf with some stars in it. So we're gonna use that. This is our inspiration, so that's where I'm getting like the colors from, and the, you know, that's where we're gonna be taking our inspiration. So let's get started. So I haven't exactly decided which thing is gonna go on which nail yet. Oh, I realized I have to replace the I already did base coat on all my nails, but then I had to replace this because I spilled what I was trying to test. The navy blue color, I spilled not entire bottle, but I spilled a good amount of that nail polish, and it got all over the base coat. So I'm gonna redo this nail because I don't know if I want navy on that nail yet. Plus it was like a big messy application, so that wasn't exactly gonna work either. I do want to talk a little bit about something that has happened to me recently, because it's kind of a really big deal in my life, but it's really hard to know how to talk about it with you guys. It's a very complicated thing. Oh, did I tell you what I'm using? This is the First Base Base Coat by Essie. I may have just repeated myself there. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna start with my base color and I'll try and tell you about this story. I think I'm just gonna go, see, I already have this on the thumb. I think that I'm going to do the 2 middle fingers in this gray color and everything else in the navy color. Just because, why not? So, I don't know what I've told you guys about my childhood, but my dad passed away when I was 5 years old, and that kind of affected a lot of things going forward. Obviously, a big, important person in your life, and a death like that is definitely going to, you know, shape the rest of your life. And I definitely don't want to get into too many details because these are other people's lives also, and I don't want to like share things that they may not want shared, but I will share as much as I can, because it's also my life, and I like sharing things with you because it kind of ends up being like therapy a little bit for me. So anyways, he passed away, like I said, when I was 5 years old, and it was a very confusing time for me because I was 5 and I'd never experienced death before. I didn't understand, I think, and I believe to this day that I never fully processed or mourned him. This nail is really wonky because it got, you might not be able to tell. Maybe you can't. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I'll zoom in a little bit more. I broke that nail and then had to kind of fix it again, and it's still kind of whatever. Not the point. So anyways, like I was saying, I don't think that I ever fully processed his death. And before you know, I don't want this to be like a pity party thing, because I'm happy in my life. I'm very happy with how things turned out, and it's really hard to say if you'd change things, you know, because like, for instance, if he hadn't have passed away, my mom never would have met my stepdad, and I never would have gotten my 2 younger siblings. So it's really hard to say that you know, if you could go back in time and change things, would you? And it's just complicated. So that's all I'll say about that. I'm sure you know, it's complicated. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been through something similar. I don't know why I just did a second coat of that when I should have moved on to the navy. I'm going to move on to the navy for a little bit. I did do 1 coat on here, and it's basically a 1 coat nail polish, but I'm really picky, so I'm gonna do a second coat on everything. Anyways, long story short, several times over the years I have tried, I hope I'm in frame, I'm sorry. I have tried to come to terms with things, like when he died, we lost touch with a lot of family. And that really messed with me, with my brain, because for a lot of things. And I was mad at people, I was mad at everybody for like, you know, for not being there when we were young. And it's really hard still to not be pissed off, but I guess I've come to terms as like an adult and realized that that death shocked everybody, and it shook up the whole family, and it affected people in different ways. So it is what it is. Apparently I'm being really messy with my application. I think part of it is I'm trying really hard to be in frame for you guys, and it's not the easiest thing to do. Maybe I will zoom out a little bit, so maybe you won't be able to see as detailed, but it'll be a lot easier for me to stay in frame for you and maybe not be as messy. We'll see. And one of the people that I had lost touch with was actually my sister. So I think I've told you guys before that I have a lot of brothers and sisters, and several of us have different dads. My older brother and sister, their father just kind of was out of the picture. He just kind of left. And then, I mean, there's more to that story too, but again, that's not my story to tell. And then my mom met my dad, and then he passed away. And then my younger two, and so my mom met my dad, and then she had me and my younger brother. I have a lot of brothers and sisters. I don't want to name names because I don't know what people want me to share or don't want me to share. But they had 2 kids, and then when he died, my mom met my stepdad, and then they had 2 more kids. So my mother had 6 kids altogether. But before my dad met my mom, he had been married before, and he also had 2 kids. So when he died, we had lost contact with them, basically. And that was really sad. And again, it's really easy to get mad at the adults in my life at that time for not, not making us stay in touch. But again, my poor mother, I will never be able to understand the hell that she went through during that time. So I'm not mad at anybody anymore, because it is what it is, And even for a little bit, it was... Okay, sorry. I think that I've got my coats done. No, I haven't. I haven't done second coats. This is going to be a really hard video for me to film, I think, just to keep my thoughts straight and to be able to share everything that I want to share. Anyways, my oldest sister, because she was older than my older sister, or my older brother and sister from my mom's side, if that makes sense. Again, it's so hard to keep things straight without names, and I apologize, but we're doing the best that we can. Anyways, she is 10 years older than me, and just very recently, funnily enough, she ran into my other older sister while she was shopping at Ross. I swear, Ross, for our family, Ross is that store where I don't know, we just step into an alternate universe or something, and weird things happen to us when we go into that store. But she ran into her, and they had lunch, and it was really good. It was just a really good reconnection. And then she was like, oh my God, Hannah really wants to see you. Hannah really wants to talk to you. You should get in contact with Hannah. I want to call her something, because it's really hard to call her, to not have a name for her. I guess we'll just say my long lost sister. She was nervous about reconnecting with me because I think she worried that I was mad at her for not taking responsibility and, basically being in my life by force, if that makes sense. Which I was never mad at her for that. I never really felt like it was her responsibility, but I feel like she was concerned about getting in contact with me because maybe she wasn't emotionally ready to deal with all of that too. And I understand and can relate because holy moly, it's a lot of emotion and stuff. But I have always felt like I was missing a little bit of my identity, of my history, of where I come from, because after my dad died, I said that weird, after my dad died, it sounded like the right letters were not in there. It was really, my family went into, everybody went into, like, turmoil. It was, I mean, that sounds really bad. We found happiness. Everybody ended up okay and everything, but it just shook everybody so much. And I know that my mother didn't mean for this to happen, but we definitely, we didn't really talk about my dad very much because I think it was just too painful to talk about. And I understand that, but that kind of resulted in my knowledge about where I come from that side to have been stunted at age 5, and I just didn't know much about him, and I didn't know much about that side of the family, and I didn't know a lot of things, and I just felt like I wanted to have that information. And I ended up reaching out to some like more distant family members on Facebook a few years back and like finding out some kind of topical family history things. But it definitely, it wasn't what I was looking for. I don't need to know which great-grandfather was in which war. That's not the kind of information I was looking for. Look at how messy I am being right now. Oh my God. Hold on, Michael's home. I'm going to take a quick break. All right, so I am back right now. I had to take a little bit of a break there. I used that time to clean up around the edges very roughly. It's not very great, but whatever. I'm going to try and remember exactly where I was. I'm sure I will have forgotten some, so if I repeat myself a little bit or whatever, I apologize about that. While I'm talking, I'm going to use this What's Up Nails plate B00 or B011, and we're going to use this constellation image right there. And I was going to use this silver color, but I tested how, let me zoom in for you. I tested how it's going to look with just using the gray, the gray that's on the rest of my nails, and it actually ended up looking okay. So I think we're just going to keep going with this gray just to keep kind of like a cohesive thing. So we're not actually going to use this silver, it looks like. Although it would probably be easier to stamp with the silver. It'd probably be a little bit more foolproof, but we're going to be difficult and not foolproof. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this. It might be a slightly off screen, but you'll at least see some of it. So bear with me, people. We're just going to do that on the navy colored nails. So anyways, I was looking for a piece of my past, basically, or just looking to help myself figure out who I am. There it is. It's not perfect, but it's something. I'm also using this this Maniology, what is this even called? Sticky Stamper Station, I believe it's called. I really enjoy this for cleaning off my stamper head. So, anyways, I basically felt like I had learned as much as I could learn from the people around me, and that I was missing something. So, when my sister had run into my long-lost sister in Ross, of all places, I kind of felt like maybe this could be it. That didn't stamp very well. I'm going to do it again. sometimes you just don't get a great stamp, so you got to do it again. And it was a couple months until I heard from her, because I think that she was, like I had said before, a little bit nervous about opening up that whole can of worms, because it is a lot of emotion. Okay, I'm not picking up very well again. Let me try cleaning off the plate. And I don't blame her for feeling that way, because I was feeling overwhelmed too. I definitely was really worried that I was going to find things out about him that would make me re-mourn. I mean, even though I probably should, I just felt like maybe it would be harder than I realized to, I don't know, to feel sad about him again. And to feel sad about him in a way that I hadn't been able to when I was a kid. I did, here's another offshoot weird story. I'm cleaning off my stamper head with a little bit of acetone to see if that helps. Or not acetone, sorry, this is rubbing alcohol. I do not want to use acetone on a clear stamper because it will be, I'm pretty sure it's going to get cloudy if I do that. Offshoot story. When when Everett was 4 days old, he had just been born. I was still very much recovering from surgery. And he was bigger than we'd thought, so we'd actually had to go and buy him some clothes at Ross, of all places, because he was growing faster than we thought he was going to. So we had to go get some clothes for him, and while we were in line waiting to check out, somebody had stopped me in line and asked me if I was so-and-so's daughter. And I was like, yes, I am. So in case you were wondering, that stamp was really big for my nail, so I just went and added more. I will zoom in again. God, I know, I'm sorry, guys. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. Hopefully well, but in the viewfinder it's not looking great, so we'll see. I just added little bits that were left on the stamper. I just kind of added it around just to kind of make the image look a little bit more full. So yeah, somebody had stopped me in line, like I said, and asked if I was his daughter. And I kind of like froze a little bit, like, oh my God, yeah, I am. And she was like, well, you just look so much like him. It's shocking to me. And I was really taken aback by that. Nobody had ever stopped me before and said something like that. Nobody had ever, that just blew my mind, basically. I mean, how could I possibly look so much like him? That image did not pick up well. This polish is kind of hit and miss in terms of stamping. And it shook me. And so when Everett was 4 days old, oh yeah, this turns out, by the way, this is my long lost sister's mother. I didn't recognize her because it had been so freaking long since I had seen her. I'm going to clean off the plate because that one didn't stamp well either. This polish is just really finicky, apparently. So I hadn't seen her since I was like a tiny baby, basically. So I didn't recognize her, but she stops me in Ross and asks me, and it just, yeah, blew my mind. Turns out she was my long lost sister's mother. And yeah, and like I said, that just kind of, I mourned him again when Everett was a baby, and then again when Arlo was first born, just because it broke my heart that they wouldn't get to know their grandfather. That just seemed so incredibly unfair to me, because he was just such an amazing man, which he really, really was. Was that in frame? Hopefully. I don't know. I'm sorry. That worked really well. So apparently I can only get like maybe 2 stamps out of one go. I have to clean it every time. I don't know. We'll see. And I was worried that if I saw my sister again, that I was gonna have to re-mourn him again. I am gonna have to clean this plate off after every single time. That kind of sucks. And I'm sorry guys, I know that this is a little bit all over the place and probably taking way too long to get out a single story. Bear with me. Anyway, so it had been a couple months since my sister had lunch with my long lost sister, and I had just gotten a random text from her in, like, not super late at night, but kind of late at night, and I was like super taken back and kind of shocked. God, that wasn't in frame either. I'm sorry. Anyways, it stamped well after that, so I'm just going to clean off the plate again in between each time. Some polishes are like that, or maybe they're just too thin or something, but you can't restamp. Some polishes you can. Most stamping polishes, I'd say you could get like several stamps in. If you cover the whole plate with, or cover the whole image again with nail polish to kind of reabsorb anything that had dried. But apparently this one, no. Anyways, and I'd gotten this text from her and my heart just was filled with so much warmth and excitement, and I just couldn't believe that I was going to get to see her again. And she just seemed so excited to see me, and it just, I don't even know how to explain it. It was almost like no time had passed, and we just were like, yes, oh my God, I love you so much, I love you. Turns out that the reason why she kind of got kicked in the butt to text me finally after meeting with my sister months beforehand was my little brother just randomly walked into the restaurant that she works at. He had no idea. He just walks in and sits at a table that was reserved, actually. And my long lost sister happened to work there, and she comes up and she's like, hey, you can't sit here. This is like literally the only table in the whole place that you can't sit at. And he was like, oh, sorry. And she's like, wait a second. Oh my God. Are you, and she asked his name and everything. And he's like, yeah, I am. And she's like, oh my God, I'm your sister. And it was kind of just one of those mind-boggling. Sorry, I was cleaning the inside cap part of the nail polish so that it didn't get all crusty. And that's kind of where this whole thing started. They reconnected, and then she was like, it's time, we got to reconnect. And she did. She texted me. We made plans to meet up at Starbucks. I just wanted to pick somewhere kind of neutral that would just be an easy place that you could sit there for like 2 hours if you wanted to and nobody would bug you. In theory, I know that that's not the case for everybody. I don't want to bring up things from the news. So I just picked that. Oh yeah, I'm going to do the wolf, and I'm going to use this to stamp the wolf with. This is the shibori. People are probably rolling their eyes so hard on me right now for how I'm pronouncing that. And then I'm going to use the yellow to fill in, to do a reverse stamping kind of thing for the moon. I don't know how well it's going to work out, so if it looks super ugly, we're just going to forget about the yellow, but we're going to try with the yellow. We'll see what happens. I am switching stamper heads just because I feel like it. This is the Queen one. I was using the Maniology monocle stamper, and I have several stampers over here. I'm going to be switching around a little bit. Let's just get started. So that whole weekend, I think I had set it for like 3 days, or maybe more than 3 days ahead of time. And I should have just said like, hey, can you meet tonight or something? Because the time waiting to see her was like torture. Like, it was not, that picked up pretty good. Yeah, I think that that worked really well. We'll see how adding the yellow works. I'm testing this right now so that we don't get like halfway through the manicure and realize that it did not work well. I'm just using this really tiny nail art brush thingy that's falling apart, and I'm probably gonna have to get another one soon. But hopefully I can get a little while longer because, yeah, I'm hoping to do a big order of stuff for my channel, supplies and stuff, like new lighting and new nail art brushes because this one's falling apart. Hoping to do that with the tax return, so we'll see how that goes. Anyways, so I'm like dying with anticipation, waiting to see her. And then the day finally comes, and I'm so freaking excited because I'm nervous, I am, but I just missed her so much. When I was little, I just loved and admired her so much. Like, a lot of little girls admire their big sisters, you know? I admired both of my big sisters, but I had one of them in my life, and I saw her, like, every day. That turned out really well. It's not perfectly in the lines, but I think once it's stamped on the nail, it'll look okay. So I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to do another one so that we can do both of those nails at the same time. But I had actually named like all of my dolls after her because I just missed her so much. And when I told her that fact, when I finally did see her, she just like bawled like a little baby. We spent 2 hours in Starbucks. Once I finally got there and all the anticipation was finally over, we had spent like 2 hours in Starbucks just bawling our eyes out about memories. And it was just it was really good, but it was really hard. It was very emotionally painful. That wasn't a perfect stamp, but it was okay enough because I don't really feel like doing it again. So just putting a little dot of polish on a tin. And I'm using my little brush to just fill in the moon part. And I can't even explain to you how natural it felt, I hadn't seen her. I should say that she did end up coming to see me a couple of times over the years, but it was never very consistent, you know, and we saw her once and then we wouldn't see her again for several years and stuff. And so it was really hard to kind of decide how I felt about things, you know. And so I haven't seen her. The last time I saw her was 9 years ago. Where a funny story that I'll tell for another day. She kind of crashed my wedding a little bit, which is amazing. And I'm glad that she was able to come. But it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain because she is my long lost sister, but she's been in and out several times in my life. So I might delete this part later, but I'm considering maybe adding a picture of us together when I was really little. I'm still not sure if I'm going to delete that or not, but if I decide to keep it in the video, you will be seeing that picture right now. And you'll see how adorable my little brother is and how much of a dork he is, and you'll see how friggin' cute I was as a child. And you'll see how beautiful my older sister was. She still is so beautiful. But basically the moral of that story is I'm so grateful that we waited until we were adults to kind of sit down and have some of these conversations about memories. I told her about the night that our dad died. She wasn't there, and so I told her about what happened to him. And if you're curious, I won't tell the whole story, but he had been electrocuted at work a few weeks before. That had caused his heart to become enlarged. It was working way overtime, and it was 2.5 sizes bigger than it was, or not sizes, but it was 2.5 times bigger than it was supposed to be. I'm talking about sizes like it's the Grinch. I'm considering using this design here to fill in, to add more yellow, because I want more yellow in the design. I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to stamp that with this. We'll see what happens. So he'd been electrocuted at work, and that caused his heart to go like way into overtime. And then he had ran to the end of the block. He was like having a little race kind of thing with my older brother, and he had collapsed at the end of the block and had a heart attack. And that was it. And she wasn't there for that, and I remember that very vividly. I remember seeing a lot of things, and it was really hard for her to hear, but she really felt like she needed to hear that, and so I tried to be there for her in that way, and even still now I feel like maybe I shouldn't have told her that, or maybe, I don't know. I am going to add the wolf to my nail, but I need to add a little bit of clear coat. I only have 3 stamper heads out right now, so I'm trying to clean one of them off by putting it on my nail, because I think I am going to do a reverse stamping kind of thing. So let me I think I'm going to add it to my middle finger. We'll try the middle finger. I'm just adding something so that it's just slightly sticky. There's barely anything on the brush. I just brushed a teeny bit of clear coat on there, just so that it's tacky and will pick up the image. I'm gonna blow on it because I don't want it to be soaking wet. Anyways, we just talked about a lot of memories that we had of him and of childhood, and it was therapeutic, and it was painful, and we cried a lot, and then I invited her to my house afterwards. We cried some more. I'm just trying to line up the image the way I want it. Wasn't perfect, but it's okay. It's okay enough. Guess I'm gonna add, this one looks dry enough too. I'm gonna add the other one to the other middle finger. And it was just amazing. It was really therapeutic. And since then, I have seen her again. And every time I see her, it just feels so natural and so amazing and like therapy. And we cry and we look at pictures, and I just really want her to be in my life now. I feel like we're both adult women now, and we should be able to make this work now, you know? We can make time. That nail is a little bit shorter than my other one, so I had to kind of move the wolf down my nail a little bit, which I honestly wish I would have done on this nail too. I really hope that this whole video isn't like out of frame. I apologize if it is. I'm just doing my best here, y'alls. Anyways, I guess that's most of what I wanted to tell you guys. I'm sure there's probably more, but I don't really know what else to say about it right now. I guess we should probably just continue on with the nail art. That one's stamped way better than the first one, so I'm going to do that again so that I have 2 really good looking images that I can start adding the reverse stamping stuff to. Yeah, that one was better. So we're going to use these 2 instead of that first one that we made. And we're going to add some pretty stuff to it. I'm using a regular lint roller just to get a little bit of stuff off of the edges where there was other images on there. And I'm not exactly sure where I want to put the yellow. That's really hard. I'm just gonna play around and see what happens. Where I end up putting the yellow is a mystery. We will find out. And I might end up adding more blue also, I'm not sure. Just because the blue and the yellow together look really pretty. But we'll add the yellow first and see. But yeah, I guess that's most of what I want to say about that story. if you have other things that that you want me to talk about that, let me know. Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would tell you. I'm struggling with whether or not I want to add some outline or if that's going to be way too difficult to replicate. I don't know. We're going to... This is very delicate, detailed work right here. And I might totally be messing it up, but... Reverse stamping is super fun, and sometimes I get a little carried away. See, it might just be too... That's too messy. Yeah, we're not going to do that outline. I'm going to scrap this one. And we're just going to work with... We're gonna do a different... We're going to do a different thing. But, oh yeah, she came over the other day and she got to know my kids a little bit better. She played with them. She got them this really cute fishing game. And Everett calls her auntie, and it's just really sweet. It just warms my heart, you know? It really seriously does. I'm going to add more yellow to these outside ones, I think, just because it would be cool. And why the heck not? And I don't know how to tell myself to stop. Just keep adding stuff. Anyways, so I have no idea what kinds of videos y'all want to be seeing from me. If this kind of super personal video where I tried to add nail related topics in, if that works for you, if you like this, or if you'd prefer me keeping it just like strictly nail stuff. And I certainly don't really care about views, if I'm getting them or not, but it definitely does suck if you work really hard on a video and nobody sees it. That kind of hurts my feelings. And I know that that's not like your guys' fault. A lot of time that's YouTube's fault and the changes being made to YouTube. But it still sucks. I still wish that you guys could see everything that I'm doing. I'm just cleaning off my brush. I'm gonna add, am I gonna add that? No, I'm not. It looks really pretty just like that, so I'm not gonna add any more to that one. And I'm going to just do another one because that first one turned out like crap. So I'm gonna make another one. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. All right, I took a tiny break while I let these dry a little bit, and then I also did some swatches on these. Well, I attempted to. The yellow one turned out pretty good, but the blue one only half of it actually stuck to the stamper because I worked, or to the cap because I didn't work fast enough. But yeah, so I feel like there's more things that I want to share, more parts to the story that I'm just spacing on right now because it's really hard to know what to say when I share this to people. I've realized when telling friends and stuff that I don't know, maybe because I was so little when it happened and stuff that I have a very crass way of just being like, oh yeah, my dad died, here, let me tell you all this, and they're like, oh, wow, okay, and they kind of don't know what to do with that information. So, yeah. I don't know. Let me know if you have any stories similar, if anything crazy like this has happened to you, where long-lost family members just kind of reappear in your life, and yeah. Anyways, well, that turned out pretty cute. I like it. Let's do the other nail. I'm gonna do it like this so maybe you can see a little bit better. That turned out crooked anyways. Whatever, that's not my picture taking hand, who cares? So, there's that. Let's work on the top coat. Now, I certainly don't want you guys to be like spilling family secrets and stuff in the comment section, but if you have ever had anything similar to that, this stuff happen to you, I would be very interested to hear. Or if you lost a parent when you were really young, or anybody important to you, not just parents, if you lost somebody like that, how do you feel like you like dealt with it or didn't deal with it, you know? I mean, especially since it kind of felt for a while there like we weren't supposed to talk about it. It was really hard to, I feel like, grieve and understand it as such a young child. And yeah, it's just a really weird time. My poor baby brother was, I think he was he was less than a year old. He was really little when our dad died. And he didn't get to know him at all. And honestly, that just like breaks my freaking heart. He got so cheated out of such an amazing, amazing human being. I mean, half of the things that me and my sister, long lost sister, talked about in our meeting with each other. Oh my God, have I been out of frame? I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place. This is a really difficult emotional video for me to film for you guys. But yeah, like we were just talking about how cheated my kids are, how cheated my brother's kids are, how cheated, it's just, our dad was just such an epically amazing human being, and everybody that knew him would say that. And I know that everybody might say that about a loved one, you know, especially after they die, but I think that it was just different. I think that he was just the most warm, kind person, and even like he worked, like I had said, he had gotten electrocuted at work. He basically worked in fixing people's houses, furnaces, and electrical stuff, and even clients that knew, and you know, they would always call and recommend, or not recommend, so they would call and say that, oh no, only he can work on my furnace, or and some of those people and his coworkers and stuff, some of them showed up at the funeral because he was just such some of the things I didn't know about him, you know, like I didn't remember his funeral, but my long lost sister did. It feels really weird to say that, but for the purposes of this video, because I don't want to give out names and stuff, but she had talked about how at his funeral there were so many people that wanted to be there and pay their respects that there was a line out the door. It was standing room only. So many people wanted to see him and say goodbye, and I just think that that's really a testament to how much of an impact he had on people's lives. Yeah. And it's been a really emotional journey, finding new things out about him. She tells me stories about me being little and running up to the car when he came home from work, and I guess he had shaved off his mustache, and he had always had a mustache, always, but he had shaved that day. And so when I came to like run at him and, you know, jump in his arms like I always did when he got home from work, I'd like stopped 6 inches short, and I just froze, like, who the hell is this guy? And I was just like completely shocked, and I didn't recognize him. So she's been telling me little stories like that I didn't remember, and it's been really beautiful and therapeutic, but like hella insanely emotional, and yeah. So anyways, I hope that this didn't seem like a sad video to you, and I want to leave you guys with the impression that like the truth is I really am happy that I'm reconnecting. I really am happy that I'm going through all these emotions right now. I am a grown-ass woman now, and I feel like I can handle this and process this in a really healthy way right now, and I'm in a really good place in my life, and I'm so glad to have my sister back in my life. Honestly, I'm just so happy. I'm inviting her to every single family event from now on. Like, I want her to be in my life. So anyways, it's probably way more information than you were asking for. But anyways, this is the final nail look. I think that we achieved the goal of looking like that set of pajamas from Old Navy. By the way, those are toddler pajamas from Old Navy. I think we achieved it, plus we did some other cool stuff. I do still have to clean up around the edges and take a picture, so this isn't the final look, but I probably will be inserting the final look pictures at the end. So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, just I'll see you next time. Thanks for being therapy for me today. All right, bye.